What is up everyone, welcome back to another top 10 video where this time, we're going to be counting down the best plays from the final week of competition in Stage 3. The pace was absolutely relentless this week as playoff spots were finalized and the top teams in the world battled it out for their chance to walk away with that $100,000 prize. No team had a more difficult slate of matches than the Boston Uprising though, as they competed on stage 4 times against each of the other qualifying teams. Prevailing through their initial matchups, Boston became the first team to actualize a perfect 10-0 stage. Ultimately, it was NYXL who had the last laugh as they exacted their revenge, taking down the Boston squad in the finals and in the process, becoming back-to-back stage champions. With the 4th and final stage just around the corner, let's take a look back at just how Stage 3 came to an end as we dive into the top plays of Week 5. Kicking things off this week, we have probably the most dangerous Messi in the league doing what he does best. In their final series of Stage 3, the Philadelphia Fusion went toe-to-toe with the 3rd playoff seed in the LA Valiant. Just as Custer activates his Valkyrie and takes matters into his own hands to shut down EQO, Neptuno whips across point A of Volskaya and one-ups the only Aussie in the league by finding a double kill as Mercy. Certainly not something you see every day as Neptuno's sensational accuracy here takes down the opposing Mercy in flight before finding the finishing blow onto Soon. In at number 9 this week, we have yet another impressive play from a support main as Neko demonstrates the lethality of a damage-boosted Zenyatta. Soaring high above the objective, Agilities enters the engagement with ult at the ready as Boston near completion of this phase on Oasis. Despite having the support of Custer, Agilities is caught entirely off guard as Neko connects with a devastating volley of damage-boosted Zen orbs. The kill is eventually resurrected, but observing the play from Neko's point of view, we can see just how far he actually had to send those orbs. An exceptional display of accuracy from one of the top Zenyatas in the league. In at number 8, we have a unique moment from the series between the LA Gladiators and the Florida Mayhem. After an initial failed push, Florida attempted a different strategy, opting to move around to the right-hand flank. Weary of this, Hydration laid out a perfectly placed trap that caught 3 members of the opposing team.
3K, there's concussive mine, a 4K overall, that is insane.
Now typically the trap mine combo only finds a single kill here and there, but thanks to a discord from Shaz as well as a damage boost from Big Goose, a perfectly executed play puts an immediate stop to the plans of the Mayhem. Coming in at number 7, we have Wekid popping off on the Genji as Seoul surprisingly swept the Houston Outlaws this week. In just their very first push onto the second point of Temple of Anubis, Wekid opens with a quick kill onto Lixa before popping his ultimate and going to work in the backline. He finds 3 rapid kills for his efforts and goes on to efficiently demac Coolmat as well. An incredibly effective play as Seoul timed their dive perfectly to all but catch the Outlaws off guard. Wekid's masterful Dragon Blade opened up the point for the rest of his team and allowed Seoul to cruise through the map with over 3 minutes remaining as he secures his 10th consecutive elimination to close out the round. In at number 6 this week is an extraordinarily rare play from the greatest Zenyatta in the league. The first of many plays from NYXL in this list and the first of a few highlights from their championship series against the Boston Uprising. Approaching point B on Volskaya in their second attacking phase, Boston play things rather patiently, allowing Mistakes to gradually charge his Deadeye. Activating it shortly after he takes Meko out of his mech, Mistakes locks onto a few targets, however Jonak actually manages to body block a lethal bullet with Ark's name written on it. Communicating intentions in just a split moment, Ark flits behind his transcending teammate and survives the Deadeye to keep him and his Valkyrie in play. It was an absolutely pivotal teamfight where we saw a total of 7 ultimates invested across the board. Jonak does the unthinkable and positions himself between an ulting McCree and an ulting Mercy. Moving into the play in our 5th spot, we have another member of NYXL reasserting himself in the conversation for flashiest Widow as Pine goes on an absolute tear in their series against a demoralized Dallas Fuel. On the very first engagement on Route 66, Pine takes to the high ground to first find the headshots onto Taimu and Anko before somehow landing this absurd flick shot onto AKM, quite literally within melee range. Ridiculous.
Make it out. Oh, the Taimu not so lucky. Oh no, Pine! It's Pine time! And it's Pine time!
Oh, and just to rub salt into the wound of a team failing to find their footing, Pine goes ahead and lands a 360 headshot onto Anko. Honestly, what more can even be said about Pine at this point? Coming in at number 4 this week, funnily enough, is a 4K Diva Bomb from Note as the Boston Uprising make their final appearance on the top 10 list throughout Stage 3. Advancing the payload through to the final point of Blizzard World at an exceptional pace, Note propels his Diva Bomb forward into 4 members of the LA Valiant before finding a 5th elimination to round out the near team-killing effort. An incredibly well-timed Diva Bomb as Note boldly sends it forward as 2 members of the LA team are in their ultimate, catching everyone by surprise as the detonation clears the area and allows for Boston to take the map by storm.
Right, he has no space like please. Trouble. Man, that's huge! What are you doing, Note? 4 kills in that self-destruct, okay!
In at number 3, we dive back into the finals as Manu comes through with a devastating Primal Rage to hold point B at a critical juncture in the match. As the clock rolls into overtime, Manu is the only member of either team with an ultimate at the ready, and he certainly puts it to good use as he immediately leaps towards Neko and swats him off the map. He changes his focus as he dives back into the middle of the engagement and takes down both Striker and Kelix in swift fashion. An absolutely tremendous play from Manu as his defensive efforts here ensured that NYXL would draw out Boston's only remaining undefeated map in the league with a previous record of 10-0. The second spot this week goes to one of the newest stars in the Overwatch League as Architect, the San Francisco Shock, demolished the Outlaws piece by piece to round out their Stage 3 efforts. As the first phase of Oasis drew to a close, it was Architect who did absolutely everything as he goes on to find 5 eliminations in just a matter of seconds. He first takes down the opposing Baby Diva and lands a single damage boosted rocket onto Jake. Architect then activates his rocket barrage to take down both Lynxa and Raucus in rapid succession, accruing a kill streak of 10 in the process before sealing the deal with an almost automatic kill onto Barney. A fantastic play from the latest standout in the San Francisco roster as they conclude Stage 3 with an upset over the Outlaws.
It's gonna be the barrage coming down and Raucus falls, that's 4 kills for Architect! The Architect of Houston's demise!
And finally, to end Stage 3, yes we're going back to the finals between NYXL and Boston, and yes we're going back to Volskaya once more, but there simply wasn't a better moment all week than when Saebyeolbe underscored his talents and asserted himself as the best tracer in the world. In a series against the leading team of Stage 3, the undefeated Boston Uprising, it was Saebyeolbe who outperformed his opposite in Striker. A remarkable accomplishment given that Striker loomed atop the league all stage long as the most effective tracer, bar none. Saebyeolbe starts off this particular play in focus by creeping into the backline and taking down both supports despite Note's best efforts to thwart the offense on Diva. Shortly thereafter, he finds the kill onto Mistakes before demeching Note and one-clipping the Baby Diva, meleeing Gamsu and securing the point for the rest of his team. The level of individual talent in the New York roster is simply unrivaled throughout the Overwatch League. No denying that there are other exceptionally skillful individuals across the 12 teams, but no other roster is able to execute on individual plays quite like NYXL. At any given moment, any lone member of the team, even the supports, can clutch up, take matters into their own hands, and essentially all but obliterate any opposing team single-handedly. And Saebyeolbe does just that time and again, this time leading his team to back-to-back playoff championships and becoming the first team to qualify for the season playoffs following Stage 4. Just think about that, NYXL could legitimately forfeit every single match for the remaining 5 weeks of competition and still find themselves in the overall playoffs. It cannot be overstated just how impressive this roster is as once again, they dominate the competition and further extend their overall lead in the season standings. So that's another week of highlights in the books as Stage 3 comes to a close. Another extremely exciting week to break down, so of course, let me know in the comments below any other notable plays that you think may have deserved a spot, but as always, thanks for tuning in and I'll see you in the next one.